Welcome to the absolute worst stage in every single cycle. If you look at the last 4 years, because it tends to repeat the exact same thing as back in late 2021/2022, this is the boring period. That was 4 years ago. I remember that part. Nothing was happening. Everybody's pretty much building but silent, and we gotta wait for things to move on, to go up again, to come out of this ditch, and then we go up. If it's the exact same cycle with the same amount of days, then we have 1064 days of going up and 364 days of coming down, which means on October 5th this year, we should go back to like this stage here, and then we go up. That's the cycle. So for the next like 4 months, 3.5 to 4 months, if it does repeat the same thing as before, nothing is gonna happen, which will be really boring. We might go down to like 50,000, might stay at the 60k range, maybe even, we said it's 65 to 70. But if it does repeat the exact same thing as it seems to do, because history might not repeat itself verbatim, but it does rhyme for sure, it certainly does, as we see, then we just have a few months of enjoying the summer, working, making some money, putting it in the market on these lows, and then in the future again, we will get to these points, and we have to remind ourselves we should probably sell this because it tends to crash down. Now, in a couple days from now, maybe even tomorrow, I don't really see the announcement at the moment, but they had the news earlier that I think BlackRock and the ETF, they're gonna have some things that will happen soon. BlackRock's Bitcoin transfer to Coinbase might be big, maybe it's not. Circle introduced circulating Bitcoin on ETH. Maybe that's big, maybe not. All we know is that in the last week or so, MicroStrategy, is it called MicroStrategy? Strategy, the one from Michael Saylor, they did put in some more money to accumulate more Bitcoin. They sold 32, I think, as they had to, for like dividend payments, something like that. Now they bought 1,550 more Bitcoin for 101 million. Good for them. And I like to think, I am one brain cell in this human meat suit. How would I know what happens? If they put in billions, maybe, and this is an authority bias, they might know what happens in the long term. Because if they're profitable now in the next 3 years, doesn't matter. Amazon wasn't profitable for 20 years. Now it seems to be a pretty big deal. So if they simply think in 5, 10, or 15 years, then everybody who thinks short term gets destroyed. I think every single trader, or like 99.8% of all traders within like a 10-year time frame, lose money. So basically all of us. If you simply buy and hold and never do anything, it seems boring, doesn't feel correct, especially on a correction or when it goes down. But that's what the big players do. If they accumulate Bitcoin between, let's say, 50,000 and 120,000, and it goes to 1 million and they get an 8x somewhat safe, they don't care. They're happy. If they double $1 billion, that's $1 billion. If you get a 500x on a meme coin you put in $10 in, yeah, that's not $1 billion. You know, like, you have to be far more risky with a less amount of money. And the more money you have, the safer you can bet. So if you simply zoom out and we think about this in a long enough time frame, let's say even 9 years until 2017 until now, seems to be fine. Like if you bought at the peak of like 20k back in 2017 and then you saw it come down to like 4,000, yeah, that sucks. But then if it goes from 20k to 120k and you did a 6x within like 5 years, that's still better than most investments. So what am I doing in the meantime? I am traveling a little. I am moving to a different apartment soon. I still have a couple months, but still. And I'm just waiting. I would like to say I'm sitting here building the next AI crypto mix of agents that autonomously do something. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't found my purpose yet. So in the meantime, I'm simply thinking, how would I accumulate my capital once things pick up again? You could, for example, say, Hyperliquid, that did pretty well since February. I think we went from $30 up until 60. Right, we had these lows of like $20 even in late January, had $30-ish February to March, since then up to 60. So you can still get a clean 2x with your capital, even on large cap coins. Does it mean that this exact trend continues? I don't know. In the past week, we've seen, what was it? $65 down to 52. So if it does go down 20%, then it goes back up by about 20%. That's a 20% swing trade you could take. Or you simply buy it and hold. 50-50. Do what you like. Now I'm here, I'm waiting, and I also notice for like other crypto creators and YouTubers and crypto in general, whenever money is down, they can't really fund the projects. And the ones that they're developing, the ones that are more like passion based or hype dependent, if there's no hype and there's no passion and there's no money, no liquidity, well then there isn't much that is happening in the space. So I guess for us, until October, I hope some things get released, maybe something like Axie or some fun games. But it seems to be, if it's the exact same cycle as 4 years ago, that until October, there won't be much that will happen. Which does suck and is quite boring. But hey, you can watch the World Cup, get some distractions. Maybe work out, go to the gym, reach a goal that you had outside of this. And don't make it your main priority or main focus. If you want to have Bitcoin in the future, now it's time to accumulate, which is boring, but hey, who said that finance has to be fun? If you think it's all flashy, everybody gets their GT3 RS and drives around Miami, what does that have to do with buying Bitcoin? You know, just buy the thing and wait. Those are my words of advice. In hindsight, wish I would have sold in October and see this repeated cycle coming. I thought we would have an extended cycle because of the ETF and other things. Well, turns out it didn't happen. But then, good news, if it does do the same thing as before, and we go from like 20,000 top to 60,000, then 60 to 120, maybe it goes from 120 to 250 or even 300,000 next cycle. See you in 2029 in October at its peak. I will remind you to sell. And at that stage, it will be the super cycle and goes to 2 million. And then I hate myself. Or I won't. We shall find out. Hope you guys are doing well. And until next time, probably next week, take care.